Actually,
back then when we used to watch television as a whole family and you sit back whenever maybe something inappropriate used to come, the parent used to look at you like, and you would actually feel embarrassed.
like I'm just cautioning all parents. Just know your absence, the time you're spending away from your child, there are other things filling in that time. Either it's social media, the person you've left at home with this child. This child is going to parent themselves on the internet. It's going to parent themselves on TikTok.
Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of the T series with your host Namugaya Sharita. Today in house we're having one incredible woman, Mrs. Samalie or Miss Samalie. She's a mentor, a coach, and a mother. She's going to be enlightening us on the program that she created for the P7 leavers that is going to take place in December. Please, parents, stay tuned. Miss Samalie, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you, Sharita, for having me. My name is Samalie Nabagwisa. I'm a mother, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, and I am the founder of She Means Business Hub, which is a platform dedicated to women and young people. So we empower women through mentorship, business education, and life skills training, also the young people.
So this time, why focusing on the P7 P7 leavers, basically? Why
I'm focusing on the P7 leavers is it's personal for me because I have a daughter in P7. So it's been a burden on my heart this whole year as I watched her getting into P7.
Okay.
I saw my little girl and I wondered, how is she going to
make that transition?
Exactly. It's such a big transition. So I wanted to talk to her, but I felt not so qualified to talk about all these things I want to prepare her for. So I thought there are so many other children just like her that are going to make this transition.
So you're there seated once in your sitting room and your daughter is there and you're like, she's now growing. So soon she's going to make a transition from being the biggest in her primary, because now it's the highest level, P7, and being the smallest in secondary. How is she going to battle up those people out there? How is she going to face the class, the new environment? Yeah, that is quite impressive, because very many students out there, they feel intimidated by crossing to that section. Whereas you've spent 7 years maybe this side in new school, you're going to a new environment, new people, new faces, and you're facing the puberty stages. So what inspired you basically to do more of, is it both gender, both the boys and the girls, or it's only focusing on the girls alone?
It's both genders, because I don't want to discriminate and say only girls, because most of these children have been in mixed schools, and they're also going to go to secondary schools that they could be single schools, they could be mixed. So we want to have like a holistic preparation for them. So we want both the girls and the boys.
So what are these real challenges these students actually facing in this transition, or that you think these students are going to be facing in that transition from primary to secondary?
All right, so you already talked about one of them. Okay. They've been in primary school, they've been acting like children, and then in primary school they've been the older ones. They've been looking at the
big ones. Guys, like
exactly.
Those are the babies.
So now the transition they're going to
be called Bunsen banners.
There's going to be some teasing, calling them Bunsen banners. So it's going to be a shock to some of them.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to be the youngest. Some of them will feel lost. Some of them will feel bad.
Exactly.
So I felt there was a need to prepare them mentally for what's coming ahead.
Okay, so when you talk about the issues or the challenges that these students are going to be facing, you talked about the point of confidence and self-esteem. How do you think you can build the child's confidence to go on to that next level? Or in this that you're preparing, how are you going to focus onto that as a key point?
All right, so during this 3-day workshop that we are preparing for them, to be a day program from 9 to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So we are organizing lots of activities, games, and discussions on these topics. So it's not just a seminar that we are going to talk at them, but we're going to engage them in different activities where they will have to speak up, different games where they will interact with other students. So I
Yeah.
feel after the 3 days, they will have developed some inner confidence.
So, by the way, the new curriculum has a way it has developed these new students to have their own confidence.
Yes.
However, when you talk about the esteem part, it's also built. What is the difference between confidence and self-esteem? Because to me, they kind of look the same.
The same.
A viewer outside there might not be knowing the difference between the two.
Okay. So confidence and they're a bit similar, but then self-esteem is how, like, your values, how you value yourself, and how they're a bit similar.
I feel like confidence is how you can come out and speak about something and be like, yeah, I'm going to stand in front of my class and do a presentation, and I'm not going to stammer around. Then your esteem is what builds that confidence, because you build your
How
confidence.
how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, it's how you build that confidence. Then these students who are going to come to secondary and they're going to be body shamed. Yeah, when I was in my first school, the first thing that I actually faced was that body shaming. I was a bit overweight compared to my classmates, and I felt like maybe I looked older. I used to actually to tell out my real age. Back then, I think I was 13, but I used to tell people that I'm 12 just to fit into the society. Yeah, and but one day there is this one teacher who comes in and says, some of you here actually demoralizing your friends or making them feel small, but where you come from, you also have a load that is taking you on. And a bully is one person who has their own fears, so they try to reflect them on another person. Yeah. Exactly. So literally, these people are really facing a lot. This is a generation where we are always smiling, but we are hiding pain behind the smiles.
Yes.
So I really feel like even this could be done for the elder people as well.
Yes.
You might think it's only a P7 liver who is facing this, but outside that, it's something very different.
True. That's why I'm really passionate about this, because when you work, confidence is not a one-day thing. I'll not lie to you, or in 3 days that we would have built it, but at least would have created that awareness and told them what they can do. And also confidence is about speaking up. Like you said, there'll be bullying and teasing. So if you tell these children, you need to speak up. You need maybe to tell a parent or a teacher that you're going through something difficult. Because a child that's not confident will keep quiet.
Then there is also this that you actually brought up, the peer pressure and relationship parts. When you go to secondary, when we used to be in primary, we had those girls that were actually the legit ones who looked cute and they already had their boyfriends in secondary. So I really just don't know how you're going to face this, because I know there are schools out there that really have this, where you have a friend who has already gotten a boyfriend, whereas you're still in primary. So when you go to secondary, these people are going to make you feel left out. You're not in the same level with them. They already know something and you know nothing about it. Yes. So how are you going to look at this peer pressure thing? Because it's always the peers that force us to do things we're not supposed to do. Yes. You feel like if my friend has a boyfriend, I definitely have to have one. If my friend is dating, I definitely have to have one. They're getting this kind of pocket money and I'm getting this. How am I going to handle that? In primary, you've been being given 20,000 and that is enough. You feel like you're top of the imitwalo ebiri gasiga bwako nagula ebiwogo jange kati. It's going to change in an environment where a friend is going to come with 50,000 and they're going to make you feel small about the 20,000. So how is this peer pressure? How are you going to handle this? Because this is going to force students to become thieves. They're going to begin thinking out of the box. How am I going to get the money? Then she will think of getting this Form 6 guy who is going to lie her with 2K. And maybe they're still also sleeping on daycares. That is the funny part about it. I find it a bit funny. So take us through on how you're going to combat the peer pressure and relationships in that early stage of the P7 students.
Okay, so while organizing this workshop, we have engaged several parenting experts and youth mentors and trainers, people that we think will really give us positive training for these children.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you brought in counselors?
Yes, counselors, parenting experts, and then people that are also passionate about this young generation
Yeah.
and mentoring it. And some of them have like stories, like real life stories that have impacted them in a way, and they are real life examples for these children. Like regarding peer pressure, you're right. We are going to talk to them about healthy and positive relationships, the kind of friends that you have in school, especially secondary school, really impact your
A
future.
lot till
Yes,
this side.
yes,
You're
and not
impacted by
everything
them.
that seems cool while you're young. I keep telling that to my daughter. Not everything that seems cool is good for you, because these children are so concerned
That
about
legit
being cool.
outfit.
Yes, they want to be cool.
That
I want to have the
hairstyle.
latest hairstyle. I want to have the
Yeah.
latest outfit. I want to put on a crop top. But is it really good for you
Or
to go
is
around?
is it in your age? Is it appropriate?
Age appropriate?
Yeah,
Yes,
for you
for
to.
you. So we're going to talk about all that. At least it will have an impact on them mentally to prepare them that when they go to secondary school and face these challenges and face this pressure, at least they will know. We will have sown a seed in them.
At least they'll be aware that out there is some, we're actually facing that. Mostly it's affecting us that are at university. It- I feel like this should be also extended to the people that are leaving Form 6 and coming to a transition of campus. Because the only thing that you're told when you're moving into those, when you're changing a stage to another stage, the first thing they're going to tell the girls is be careful of those older men. That free money is not good. Be careful of strangers and whatsoever. But they do not actually tell you what's the actual thing on ground. It is something that is very, very different. When you come into the system, it is why you're going to meet a fellow student who is already much more evil than the older men that you're fearing. You're going to meet this student that is going to promote prostitution.
Yes.
In our current world, we are facing a problem of LGBT, lesbianism, and gayism. While these students do not know anything about it, they're still innocent.
Yes.
Their brains are still young. So this child is going to have this one friend who is rich because gay people have money.
Yes.
I myself am a victim. I faced it in my senior two, where I got a lesbian friend. This was a lesbian friend, but she wasn't actually from the same school with mine. She was from another school, but we used to communicate using letters. So when I find this friend, she actually she used to send me money. These guys know everything that you want, trust me. If it's for a girl, they know how to act like a gentleman who is going to treat you in the best way. They're going to get you someone to wash your uniforms. They're going to get you someone to buy you lunch. You do not have to eat that portion, no. So you're going to feel at some point that now you're depending on this friend more.
Yes.
And they're going to make you much more vulnerable to an extent you cannot live without them. So this thing actually traumatized me sometime, because me, where I came from, I had actually heard about it, but I did not think it was real in reality. Until this one day, the chick actually approaches me with a written letter. And she used to actually describe, do you know how a guy could write a letter for you? I love the beautiful eyes, the way you talk, the way. So this is how the letter was. I give it to my friend, and then she asks me, who is this? Is this a guy? Because
it's a girl.
And I'm like, this is a girl. We have been best friends. Like, we used to share almost everything. And I actually got to find out she even had a phone. We're not allowed to have phones, but chick had a phone. So she would smuggle in the phone and take pictures of her when I didn't know about it. First, I couldn't tell a parent about it. And they felt like it was a bit shocking. But then later, I combated it, reached out to my teachers. They were really good people. They go to talk to this student, however much the student was not from our school, but they go to talk to them because they used to come and visit our school. It was allowed for people to come in. So they talked to my parents, and this student was stopped seeing me or having access to I really want to thank my teachers back then because they stood up for me. So I feel like that should be combated
Yes.
at some point, because this is going to happen in very many schools. The schools that we're actually seeing out there that look very decent, these people are planted in there as rotten tomatoes. You do not know where they come from, but you're going to choose this one school. Yeah, you're going to choose this one school and feel like this school is worthy my child's place. But there is someone who is going to come in with a different mindset. They're not going to be coming in for education, but they are coming in to preach that seed. So I really don't know if you in your notes you had actually thought about that, the gay part and the lesbian part, because these students are out there in every school. They are there.
Yes.
Maybe the administration might not know about it, but in ground students they know.
They know. Yes, actually, one of my inspirations to organize this workshop, because as parents of this young generation, we are hearing a lot of stories. What's happening in secondary schools. I've heard all those stories. The challenges of gender identity, the drugs, the peer pressure, all sorts of things happening in high school. And we are hearing these stories, and most parents are just resigning to fear. And for me, I thought about it. I'm like, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do for my child? Because she's going into that environment.
Yeah, nowadays parents are leaving more of the children with the mates. And they're focusing more on work, which is something that has killed the whole generation. A parent no longer has time to sit back and talk to your daughter. Maybe the only time they do that, they come back late at night. How was your day? How was school? Did you do homework? That is all. And then the parent is going to come back to know that their child has gotten depression about a situation when it has gotten to the worst part. So I really feel like even the parents should be guided on how to conduct their children before they cross over. This child is going to cross over from P7 with a torment they have not talked about, and they're going to take the same torment to the next level, that is secondary. This is going to build up a trauma from day one. So however much you're going to pitch in this child to have confidence, but with the challenge they had in primary, they're going to go forward with it. So I feel like before the children are actually even conducted about that, they should be the parents should be put on tension to sit down and have a conversation with our children.
Yes, they should. Parents, you're very right. Parents of this generation, we're about chasing money. We don't have time, which is
Gen Z.
Which is valid. I mean, we have to support these children to the best schools.
You're supporting them in the best schools, but with the worst minds.
Exactly. But then again, I'm just cautioning all parents. Just know your absence, the time you're spending away from your child, there are other things filling in that time. Either it's social media.
That brings us to our next question.
Yes, social media, the person you've left at home with this child. This child is going to parent themselves on the internet. It's going to parent themselves on TikTok. It's going to parent themselves on YouTube. As you are working, you're not talking to them. You're scared about talking about real issues that are happening.
Parents are withdrawing from that. Back in the days, they used to say, "Umwana mtu alawa senga." Nowadays, you cannot trust anyone with your child. You feel like the senga is going to do something wrong to this child or the uncle out there. So you feel like I should stay with my kid in the house. But you're staying with the kid in the house. What have you changed about them? Ochusiza ochi. Mwana mlese wakana maid go tamanyi isiza ati angwatori iwo. Ugenda kudo yombe mate ya wade mwana wange mede te yakoze kinene, but have you seen what the maid has done? Okuchusa.
The maid, sometimes the maids programs take a whole
ndala mwana chakulala bash. So atwa omweno mtwa, it's like a plate in karo. Whatever you feel, it's what goes on. Yecha agendo twalo bacha agendo kulaba ngechi ni reality. And we have shows. By the way, parents are focusing more on putting cartoons, buying tablets for their kids, which has been like bachi developing it. So cartoons, they pass that information. Because sometimes they talk a tool or like a cartoon. There are some cartoons that are not worth it for a child to watch. But because you know that's a cartoon, talking file what the child is actually watching. So this child is watching something, they're promoting gayism in there. They are promoting, and the child is saying it's okay. Oh, in such and such a cartoon, the other one was dating the other guy, and that was very fine.
Or
They're watching a
the
TV
little
series.
cartoons are in a relationship.
Yeah, and they're like, they are babies. They're baby cartoons, and then this one cartoon is, they call themselves a zinc. Oh, that's my zinc. So literally,
Yeah.
this child is growing up,
Your
and
3-year-old is
yeah,
watching that.
and they're like, I should have a girlfriend. They're only 5 years. At 5 years, twali tuyimba, twali tubukamye. So this
True.
children
Quite
nowadays
better.
don't know that the songs on the internet are unknown,
Vulgar. True.
very vulgar. But this child is mimicking the song, and the parent is okay with it. That is the Gen Z. My child is actually getting that good English. And then the other thing that we're actually facing out here is that abazadde bakulizanya abaana mu luzungu, and they're forgetting their home languages. I really don't know how that is going to be combated. Because you find the students out here nga tasobola kwa expressing mu lulimi olulwe nga talumanyi, like totally. And this parent feels like that is the way to go. Omwana wange ali legit okubanga you're wiping away your culture in a way that you colonized, but you don't know. You still have that colonization into your brain to think that omwana okwogera oluganda kiswaza, but wayogera oluzungu, that is the appropriate formatting.
Yes.
I really just don't know how you're going to be handling all these issues. To an extent, tutukana abaana mu goeninga, the only thing they know is that English. So when you're out here ku street kirala muko, ogenda tuke wantu ng'abantu okukozesa oluzungu kyo kirala, ofune boss wo nga yamanyi Luganda, kati nga gwokozesa oluzungu olungi oba omuyiseeko nnyo omulimu gukulemye. And parents are not going to be there all the time, like 24/7. Kubanga nti agenda okunoonyeza omulimu, Katonda asobola okugerera n'amugyawo nga tannatuuka ku stage okufunira mulimu. So you're going to face a lot of challenges out there.
Yes, so this one of the goals of this workshop is, as parents, we need to be intentional in parenting these children. We can't protect them from everything. Some things they have to learn on their own, but we have to prepare them. So that's one of the goals of this workshop, that we prepare these children mentally, socially, emotionally about the challenges that are going to face them. It's not that the whole of their secondary school is going to be challenging. It's going to be fun, but then they don't be taken up by the fun. Also,
and
they have to be grounded as children. What validates them? Like children of these days, they compare themselves a lot. You see,
you bring that shoe, and I have to. Someone else has brought the other shoe.
You see that trending
that water bottle,
you want to buy it. You don't know if your parent can afford it.
And there is that issue of tattoos, where children are labeling themselves using tattoos. I belong to such a group, and that group has a tattoo, so we are going to do that tattoo thing. So the parents feel like my child is already grown up. I shouldn't tamper with their privacy. Maybe check them. Try to check those children.
Parents, please.
I will never count.
Exactly. Let's be.
By the time you know the child is already,
parents.
is already a demon. You're raising someone here. And talk about internet and AI edits and whatsoever. What do you think about the internet? How are you going to combat it? Internet has good parts, but the negative
one is also there. So as parents, like you said, we have to be, my God, this child, as long as the child is not yet 18. Even me, I keep assuring my daughter that until you're 21, I'm going to be in your business because you're my child. So we have to know what apps are on that gadget. You have to know how to use, some of us parents are like, they say TikTok, they say Snapchat, but your children are there. You have to know TikTok. Those social media platforms, the things you keep watching, they keep flooding the timeline. So you have to know what is in my child's, like about TikTok. I didn't allow my daughter to have TikTok on their phone because of there's a lot. But then again, you have to know. I have to educate myself. What is on? Why Snapchat? Because I've had a lot of negative things about Snapchat.
People are really hiding.
So-
Snapchat is way more
It's very
dangerous
dangerous for
than
children.
TikTok, than
Yes.
YouTube.
So parents, we have to educate ourselves. Social media, your children are there. You have
And
to
they know.
supervise, and they know. And these are
Children nowadays are much more open-minded than us, than the parents.
And very sharp. And very sharp. My daughter is always helping my mother to function, like to use her phone. So that's how sharp they are. So as you're at work for 12 hours, 9 to you're doing your
Yeah.
9 to 5. That gap of 9 to 5, your child
Is
because
learning
children of
something
these
else.
days are not playing outdoor games.
Yeah. And that is a bit, and by the way, they actually talked about autism being
Yeah.
brought by using a lot of gadgets.
Yes, screen time.
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
it's
screen
creating
time.
a lot, and parents are unaware. They feel like that's a legit part of a child having a gadget 24/7. They have the television in their own rooms. Abana tetwagala amanye bane bajja kuranya remote buli mwana abeere ne TV tukyalaba ku TV.
Yes, actually.
Back then, when we used to watch television as a whole family and you sit back, whenever maybe something inappropriate used to come, the parent used to look at you like, and you would actually feel embarrassed.
Yes.
Even when they're not around, you could still be like, if mommy phoned me watching this,
Yes.
I'm not supposed to watch it.
Exactly.
But a child has their own television in their room.
Or
They're
their
watching
own phone.
They're watching
They
whatever
have
they want.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they have their own Wi-Fi, and you're like, another that. As a parents nowadays, no one.
Nabona nnyo, my child should not have. Those are things
You're
that have
spoiling that
Yes.
child to move out there. Omunange takola nnyo. The center zange weziri. For how long is that money going to be there? And children nowadays, she's just as at reach at campus guy. Mwana tamanyi fumba.
There's a meme I
Tamanyi
saw,
yadde kweyoleza. Tamanyi.
which is
Nothing.
unfortunate.
For me, I'm just going to call mommy and they get me someone to wash for me. Zabananga simanyi kubona. For how long are you going to live that life?
There's a meme I saw that said if a child can operate a phone or a gadget, they can definitely wash dishes. They can clean the house.
Exactly.
So wait,
Parents are now even very okay with where their own children insulting them. And they're like, what? Yo, a visitor comes at home and the child is sitting on their head. They can't pick it on their plates. And the parent is like, you're making it look very easy. But this is how this child is going to grow up.
Sure.
They're going to begin picking other people's stuff because they do not have that guilt. They weren't raised with that guilt. This parent has been defending that bad character. Ate katika stanakula natukeno wagulu chiwa chizibu cha muchusa. So I think that P7 is that tender age for a parent to switch.
Actually, P7 is even kind of late.
Yeah.
Actually,
so you have to be
like at about 5. At 5, a child, it's very easy for you to change a child's. It's very easy at 5. So P7 basically, like they even know much more than we know. These children, like,
a lot.
That's why parents, we need to educate ourselves. This generation, what are their interests? They like such things. You have to educate yourself. Why do they like these headphones? Why do they like these shoes? By now so many trends.
Yeah, and you just investing the money.
You have to be involved in your child's life.
Yeah, you know what next, what happens.
You know everything. You know their interests. Actually, that's why I want to talk about that topic of mental wellness and coping with anxiety.
Yeah.
Because you need to know my child, what's their character. About the upbeat, about they so happy, and then once in a while, they're just in their room. They've shut themselves in their room. They're no longer coming out. You have to ask.
Do you think when parents have that time to notice?
Exactly. We don't have time.
They actually about kumacha sawa 11 nadda mukaga ogwekiro oba 5. They're already exhausted. The best thing they can ask is that the child, umwana alidde. That is the only thing they're caring about. These children are being traumatized out there by a lot. Their own neighbors, the
Their own
housekeepers,
friends.
their own friends. There's that one friend. My friend is carrying an iPhone and I have a Techno. You do not fit in that circle. You're not supposed to be. You're not legit.
You're not our friend.
Yeah. So you're coming to this new school, and most of them are coming from these elite schools. So you're coming from this school that is not so known. Idiosyncrasy, they laugh about it. This is killing a child.
Yeah.
But a parent tagenda tula na mwana bachogereka mubuze okombatinzo otya nacho. Nowadays depression is the commonest thing. Back in nowadays we actually didn't know about depression. But now the anxiety part where you feel like I do not fit in every society where I go. I'm not loved. I'm not, to get abana bajja ku ngoreda ina social media buildings aina follow nga yali known kati gwe bambi gwe dal gwabuze chochi.
True.
There's a lot in secondary.
Actually, for me, like I told you, I thought I had all these stories. I thought about it. I looked at this child. Like there's something I need to do. I'm not very skilled at it, but I can engage people
who know
about these things, and they come and talk to his children.
Yeah, funny enough, there are some parents who actually carry out those guidance counseling sessions for other students living out their own children.
Yes.
And the child has a counselor at home, but they're battling a mental illness.
Exactly.
Again, no love, one out of the blue committed suicide. And the suicide notes are very many nowadays. They actually attribute them to a fellow student they were fighting, but this child had already a lot that was going on. So that was like a spark that sparked off beyond that. They're bringing out children with traumas. The only way they can combat an issue is by fighting. Ngatarina anything that tells them that you have to first sit, relax, and then talk about it. Yet when I get a stone and hit, or when they have anger issues. People are dealing with anger issues.
Yes.
They're dealing with this. I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
They dance a car.
Yes.
I'm always alone. So coming into class with very many students, and I feel like that doesn't make sense for me. I'm left behind, and this one teacher is very quick at teaching. But I feel like sisobola kuwanika mukono abana bajagamba ndi musiro.
Yes.
So I'm left behind. I keep on failing the same subject, but a parent cannot even umzadde wajja okuyomba mubakiche mute musomesa bulungi nga mwana ya sirise.
Yes, that's on that note. There's a story I watched online about a child who was like depressed, and they went on to ChatGPT and they were chatting with it and telling it,
AI,
I am feeling like this. And ChatGPT was, how ChatGPT it can make you feel like
you're talking to a real person.
Like it even compliments you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you're going through this. All those people are bad. What? So they chatted, and at the end of the day, the ChatGPT told the child to commit suicide.
Yeah, and actually people are following it.
So that is why one of the topics we want to discuss is social media and AI. Like these are not real, in as much as AI is not a real person. So
even when you're chatting about it,
you're not chatting with a real person. Go and talk
to the real person,
or like an elder or a guardian about your challenge.
And there's children who actually make funny comments to their fellow students. It might seem funny to the rest, but to the person that you're throwing it at, it's creating a lot of I have very many friends who have that. They've been into that. Whereas people were laughing about it, it was creating something else in their heads. Yes. They were getting different traumas. Yes. So now they no longer, you cannot come out to speak in your fellow group mates. Like they're talking about maybe an outing. And these people are like, first went to Imperial Resort. You don't know what Imperial Resort is. And you feel like you cannot ask because you goli munachalo bero tanga akafoto kama akashawari muri bavu kirabikewa fajye tusiba tudya kusijes this part.
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of streets in secondary.
And you see, those same challenges
children are being assaulted.
Yes, the same challenges adults are going through.
Exactly.
Even children. Imagine children at their level, they haven't really formed.
A better way to combat that.
Form decisions, yeah. So that is why
there is that one teacher at school who is touching you in a bad way, but exactly. You feel like you cannot communicate. Maybe they'll make you look like
threaten you.
Yeah. Fellow students, leave alone the teachers. Fellow students. Your fellow students are quite but if I sit there and they're watching it and they're like, that is the norm of the day. That was just a hug. It was just a peck. Like, why? Why are you doing it when I'm uncomfortable? True. And the child cannot communicate. Abazadde bataddewo nnyo embeera nga they are harsh because avawo bweru ng'akooye kyaddwa ku azza busungu most of the times. So omwana naatya okucommunicatinga n'omuzadde nti gundi ne gundi ankoledde bwe batyo. Children are getting diseases ze batabadde nazo. Omwana ne bampima pressure ng'agirina. AIDS is real and it's still there and no one is actually talking about it. There's a way they have normalized it to an extent. It's now no longer something that used to be feared like way back because they're very dagala. I happened to be at a hospital. It was some big hospital, and this guy comes in. He's rushing in with a girl. She was in a uniform, probably in her form 1 or form 2, because she was young and she was actually crying. And this guy was shouting the whole way. Gabantu bali kumuwulira. Anti wagala nnyo sente kati nako nakasize musawo oli wakawe eddagala. And he's screaming it around like people are actually hearing. Ngo musawo ali mumugamba. But these people already knew that people at the hospital already knew that this guy is sick. And he was actually I think tebamutuza mubuulirira. So ye natwala that anganagamba nange bansiga kasiige kati kabatambule nako bazunge nako. So we're looking at people abali mu ssomero bokka, but you're supposed to look around the cleaners. Yeah. Abana is, if they're in day, why do they pass when they're coming back? This judge guy who's taking your child to school and brings them back. Yeah. When they're bringing themselves from home to school, which people are they passing along? Because this child was crying. She was like, how am I going to explain this to my mom? She's very young. She has just found out that, and the guy knew that he was sick. But he did not tell the girl until they slept with her. And actually, the children are not taught about that sexual life. So when they come, they are so green to an extent that someone can fill in any information into their heads. Exactly. Parents, wali kutyo gamba abana that sexual life, they feel like it's njakuba mwonona.
No, you have to tell the child the truth as parents, because now some of us even lie, but there's age-appropriate sex education that is appropriate for whatever age. Even a 5-year-old can ask you a question and you have to tell them the truth. Don't lie. I attended a seminar where the lady said, child asks the mother, where do children come from? And then the mother, usually so back from the supermarket. But now you don't know that there are other people. Or this child is going to watch maybe a movie with an adult, and there'll be a scene, a pregnant woman giving birth, and they'll form now their own truth from that movie. Yet you had a chance to sit them down and tell them the truth. Tell them we need to talk about it. It's also one of our topics, age-appropriate sex education for these children, because they need to know these things. They're growing up. They're not going backwards. They're growing up. They need to
know. Nowadays, it's no longer a hidden thing.
It's not. It's everywhere.
It's quite known by the kids more than even the adults.
Earlier we tell them, and it has to come from us. There's a parenting expert, child expert, or parenting expert that said, make sure, like these children, there are a lot of voices that are around them. But as a parent, make sure your voice is the loudest, the most frequent, consistent, and the most
Yeah,
loving.
mommy talked about it and she said no to that.
Exactly. Mommy told me this. And you
Yeah.
have to keep saying it
You have to
every
be
day.
a friend to your kids to an extent. Tochimugambe in a read format. Naye kati akimanyi mami waba yagamba ekyo kibi kiba kibi. There are things that my mom actually used to say till death. However much you do anything, it cannot be erased from my head. Things like you cannot move out of the house without a scarf on your head. Even if I'm just going to a shop down there, I have to get a scarf and cover it on my head. So there is that one thing that you put into your daughter. Gatechiri cha mokoba, techiri chachi, but protect your body. Do this. No one is going to tell you anything about your body or command you to on how to use your body. These guys are actually telling them, because the boy, when the other girl was actually telling her story in the hospital, you could tell she was not told from outside. And this guy had actually made her feel like not sleeping with a guy is making you insecure. And when you sleep with a guy, you're going to form that beautiful body that you're seeing your friends with, the curvy part. So I'm like, okay. Out there. So for you might think abana really open-minded. We have a friend at Kuchalo. She actually gave birth in Happy 6. And funny enough, when they asked her who the father is, she actually said John Black. So they're like, how can John Black have come to this side? And then the chick is like, John Black. So she actually slept with a guy thinking it's a celebrity. So these are very many things that are actually little things they're using to trigger a girl's brain. A guy is going to come to you with the best deal on plate. The flowers, we need the flowers, bagenda kugulira the bouquets, the teddy bears, that new dress. These are things that are worth like 250,000. That bouquet that has money, and you feel like this guy's yategera. And you're now fitting into that society of your friends. And this guy is going to force you to, because you cannot repay with the money. At a young age, you do not have that money. Exactly. So the other alternative that you have is to use your body. That is for the girls. And for the boys also, the sugar daddies are, the sugar mummies are out there. So it's going to be the reverse. Yes. And you by the time you actually realize that what you've done is costing you way much more than the money they invested in you. Okay, it's too late. If you're a girl, she's already pregnant. The guy already has AIDS, has that disease that you don't know. So it's a lot. It's a wide topic. If you are to talk about it, I feel like we're going to spend a full day. So I feel like you should give us a closing remark on what is going to be transpiring in that P7 Livers workshop, the Level Up, and what should parents expect? How is it going to be? What is the location? If there's a fee, how are they going to reach out to you? Like that.
All right. So to any parent or guardian out there, and you have a P7 liver, we are organizing a 3-day workshop experience for the P7 livers, basically to prepare them for their next level for secondary school. That's why we called it Level Up, for the next level. And we have a lot of activities, games, and discussions on confidence, self-esteem, what to expect in secondary school, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, mental health, mental wellness, and coping with anxiety, handling peer pressure. So many topics. We've engaged parenting experts, youth mentors, their peers that are already in secondary school that can talk to them. We are organizing lots of activities. We shall also have a day where we shall do some skilling, we shall do some baking, making snacks, and like a chicken dish, so that these children can be useful at home. A child can be at home and make breakfast, bake some cookies for their siblings. Yes, so it's a 3-day workshop. It's a day program from 9 to 4. It will be held at Mbuya Parent School, that is in Mbuya. Then the fee is 250. It comes with snacks, lunch, and the supplies we shall use for the activities and games. So please, it will be a very nice experience for your children, to prepare them to make them aware of what lies ahead so that they don't just join secondary school and they are shocked at what they find there, but they are mentally ready to take on the next journey and they thrive in secondary school.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Samalie. You have talked about the different things within the package, but how are the parents going to get through to you or to that person who is in charge?
All right, so the contact number to register is 0782 018495.
Okay, I guess we shall put it on the screen.
Yes, please.
And the parents can get through to you. Thank you so much, our dear viewers. It was really worthy the watch. Thank you for being through with us. Miss Samalie, thank you for coming through. It was worthy the interview. I really appreciate. For the guys behind our cameras, Dan Soft, really appreciate for all the times and hosting us all the time. Inc. Media as always. We are there for you for your marketing, different projects. We do parties, we do wedding. What? Oh my god! We do parties. We make memories. We make your memories come to reality and your dream come true. Reach out to us on our different social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp as well. Thank you so much for watching us. I remain your host, Sharita. Have a good night. Ciao.